Hey, good morning. Hope you're doing good. I have a different setup today. It's a little grander, right? I have let me turn to FS music a little bit. Today has been really um, a raw day. It has been a day filled with challenges and um, just like inner like twisting that's been going on for me, and so I just want to be real about that um, and just a well, I mean, no different than every other day, right? I mean, we're real. Pull out these big canvases because it and this large scroll for the UK that we've been working on, and just because sometimes yesterday we spoke about moms and how important they are to us, and um, how to see them, and um, how to call out something great in them, and I think that led me into another thought process about how 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 many things that we see that we love about people, or how many things we see that are problems that keep us from making decisions. How many, how overwhelming um, our life and decisions that we made are, and so we disqualify ourselves in a lot of different ways. And I personally have struggled with all those things in in one way or another. And I don't know. I felt like today was a day we could just continue talking a little bit about that with our about our moms, and about because when I think about my mom, I think about and my wife. Um, but it is Mother's Day. And think about those two specifically first. I think about a tapestry filled with color and um, so much about them that I love that how could I begin to tell an accurate story about them? And so that may prevent me from actually, I think that's part of why I've like disqualified the day a little bit in my heart to say, hey, you know, I I don't have to do Mother's Day because I love my mom, and what am I supposed to do this grand thing on this one day, or do something on this day that represents the magnitude of my love and all that is inside of me and how I feel about my mom. And if I don't do it just right, maybe it it won't truly reveal my heart. And that's for me, as someone like me, that's scary because I want to be understood. I want the people that I love to know how I love them. I want I want to be able to express things in my heart um, in a transparent manner because that's my desire, right? That's what we want. We want to communicate clearly. We want to communicate effectively, and sometimes that can overwhelm us because we don't really know where to start. But I really felt today that today we could push into that, and so I'm going to invite you in a little closer. I just wanted you to see kind of the broad picture, but you really can't see up close, and so I wanted to bring you in a little bit closer and just kind of talk. So one of the things that my mother has always taught me is just get started, and the thing that you do know to do it. And um, and sometimes that's just like a positioning, right? Sometimes that's just like just getting a structure built. Like like this here. Um, kind of built up a little bit like an altar, right? You're gonna cook something. The first thing you can do is turn the grill on, right? And that's what I think of when I think of altar. But you prepare space, and then you just get it ready. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna prepare space. I just have this visual today of getting started, and what do you do to get started, um, and I really want to tell my mom something special on Mother's Day, but I don't want it to not be accurate or not um, be complete. I want it to be complete. I want my expression to the people that I love to be complete. I want people that come and inquire of me. I want to share with them all this. Like if all this back here represents all the stories of the things that you would say, how do you get started to say the first thing? And I think sometimes if we just start with one story, right? We start with one thought. Like, don't you love the question that people ask you is like, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about your mom? You know? And then hey, start there. Like, don't it says, don't resent small beginnings, just start. And I remember when I started talking to God, like really, and it was on the floor floor of my shower, and with my face to the drain, and I just started to tell him about my hurt, and just started to tell him stories about my life, and have memories that came up, and I just started to communicate with him. Just started talking about my mom used to make for me these peanut butter crackers with cinnamon crackers, and it was heaven. My mom would often tell me to come and sit with her, and I would come and crawl up in her lap. Or when I got too big to do that, right? It's almost like we're too big. You know, like don't know where to start with the Lord. You don't know how to start talking to Him. Tell Him the story. Yeah, seriously. So many times we disqualify ourselves because we maybe don't agree with the religious formality that other people have taught us. So we think that we can't hear from or talk to God. A lot of times I mean I get out of bed early in the morning and go downstairs and sit with him, um, and sit and just make myself available. You know, that is as religious as it gets. Um, even for a season, um, And still, at times, I just sleep if that's what it is that I'm doing. Doing something. I mean, I'm definitely relaxing. Sometimes I come around the other side of things, work with what I have. I want you to work what you have today. I want you to think about telling your mom how much you love her, and telling your wife and your family and the women in your life how much you love them, and not to have to get it just right, and just to be willing just to start, just to be willing just to come and just to begin. And you may have to come around the left side of the canvas. You may have to come around the other side. You may have to do things completely different than what anyone has ever taught you is the right way. And I had a friend one time used to always say this, and it made me crazy. It annoyed me. Um, he, he would say, I would say, yeah, but she said about doing something the right way. He's like, yeah, if there is a right or wrong, you know? And I think that in the right context is definitely something to think about. Um, and maybe in the formality of things, I think the way that we disqualify ourselves because of formality is a lie, is a is a is a is a cultural belief system that we're basing our truth off of. You know? I think a lot of people that think they have found truth um, in something other than Jesus, and even some in Jesus, I guess, make reference that the belief system is all cultural. Anyway, that's my point. I don't know what my point is. Just talking a little bit. Talking about breaking formality. And there's no right or wrong way. It's just good to get started. And there's something beautiful about getting started in intimacy and where you are and what you have to say. And so many people think they have to get things just right before they come to the Father in heaven in the same manner. And what if this Mother's Day is actually a breakthrough opportunity for you in that, in the way that you learn and that you push in to be vulnerable with your mom, of all people, with your mom or with your wife, in a way that you never have been before, is actually um, is a training ground. Actually, opens up your heart to a revelation that God wants to show you about how He is available for you in the same way that your mother is available for you in an intimate manner, in a manner of radical jealousy for you. Um, in a manner that complements every hope and dream that's hidden deep within you. When you come to your mom or you come to your wife or you come to that woman in your life in this time, oftentimes, we come and all we can do is just fall down. We just lay down. But it doesn't always stay that way, right? We like we fall prostrate, fall on our face. The right way to say it, I guess. If pronounce it exactly. You know, we fall on our face. When we fall on our face before something, it's usually quite humbling to do that. But how often is it, loving on someone and encouraging them and uh, and I and I find them in that position with me. I find them on their face, you know, find them on their face with me, um, confessing and falling, or just, it's just that it's that surrender position, and do we always believe people in that position, it's like I don't know where to start. Well, start there. You know, if it's that bad and that intense with your mom or with reconciling with your family, or, your wife in this Mother's Day, well, and you're called to start on your face, well, then start on your face. But usually, what happens in the time that we spend with someone as we're with them and we're opening our heart, and there's something that happens, like they kind of start to pick us up a little bit, and they tell us just sit up for a minute, you know and when we sit up, we realize that we have begun a discussion with them, that we have entered into a discussion with them, that with the light, it's kind of a situation today. We're just making it work, right? We're just going to make it work. Where you've been telling a story. Look at that. You've been telling a story. And 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 you did know what to do first. You just began to share your heart. And it's the same way. I mean, it's the same way. How do you hear from God? How how can you hear from God? And it's it's relational. It starts in communication. It starts in usually quite a bit of what you have felt and thought was super scary, and you know it may be for the moment, but actually it ends up being okay. And actually, you end up looking over like my mom used to always do. And my face is buried in her lap, and got snot and everything else going in 72 different directions. And she picks up my head and she says, I love you. It's a big deal. That word where our moms say, I love you, where they don't care that you're 35 years old or however old you are, 35, 3 or 5 or 53, it doesn't matter. And they look over at you and they tell you, I love you. I love you. And the way that empowers you, it could be the other way too, like if your mom is that one that's totally in a place of discomfort with intimacy, or with doesn't know really what to say or how to say it or how to welcome you back into her life, or how to communicate with you. And they're the ones that are clueless. They don't they're the ones that are feeling like, oh my gosh, I just don't know what to say. I don't know how to get started. I don't know what to do. Guys, there's like this radical truth about love and getting started. There is a radical truth about love and getting started. Well, think about what Jesus said about who God is. He is love. He actually empowered us and gave us authority and dominion through love. what are you called to do? Like, what is God inviting you to do? Inviting me to do this. I don't know exactly what to do. I don't have it all planned out. I don't know where to start. So where do I start? Love, empowered by His love, knowing that whatever I have is His, and whatever He has is mine. I want you to know that if that what you're looking at has complexity and is heavy and overwhelming, or just a lot of good or a lot of bad. Either way, it's a lot. And you don't know how to get started. Start with love. One story of love. Remind yourself, remind another, remind your mother. Story of love. That is how you get started. Because perfect love casts out all fear. Fear usually what keeps us from getting started. Or fear is what has given us a jacked up perspective on what we're looking at. I think I just started to tell a story. That's all. I just started to tell a story about my mom. It allowed me to share love with her. I didn't have to get it just right or try to take all this behind me, all these thoughts of wonder, all these thoughts and expressions of the past, all of everything, and try to get it all nicely packaged up and put into this perfect place. No, I just made myself available. I did what I knew I had to do, which is I couldn't paint without something to hold it, couldn't paint without a brush, and probably couldn't paint without a canvas. So I got those things together and I laid down in front of the situation and I began just remembering his love, remembering my love for her, and I got started. So you can get started too. So don't be discouraged. Don't eat the thought of I don't know where to get started. Don't don't eat and try to digest that. Spit it out and just get started because people need love. People, our moms, um, ourselves, we all need it. So love you, and I hope you enjoyed this. And thanks for being patient today. And I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe we'll do some more stuff around moms. I don't know. Don't forget, put United Kingdom on your heart if you so feel led to. Okay. See you next time.